Alrighty, welcome to episode 267 of Tokwa's Ask Us Anything. As usual, it's been a pretty busy news week. And that was this week's news. Indeed it was, and once again, welcome to the program. Alrighty, as is customary, if anyone who is new and is comfortable in doing so, please unmute and say hello.
Oh, might as well go ahead, Harold. How you going?
Yes, Shane, welcome.
I've been listening to the program for a while since I bought the car. I haven't missed one yet, actually. I came to the Como meet, by the way. I saw Paul and Steve there, if they remember talking to me at the time. So
Sure do,
but
Shane.
I've just been too busy to do anything and really get on here and say hello. So we'll come to the meets at this stage. But so So anyway, I'm going to buck the trend here because I'm a bit of a different Tesla owner to most people. In fact, I'm in less than 1% of the ownership of a Tesla. So I've got the Model 3 Performance in Ultra Red 2026. So I pulled the trigger on that back in February, and I got in before the FSD lifetime licensing ended. So I actually got that with the car.
Very good.
That was one of the reasons that got me to pull the trigger because I thought, oh, really wanted this and I needed to get in and get it before it was gone. Look, and the other thing that came quite nicely with that timing was the upgraded Highland 2026 with the adaptable suspension, the front camera, the indicator stalk, and numerous other upgrades, which I just couldn't resist it at that point. I was in. So, yeah. So the rest of it's just been phenomenal, and I've been absorbing everything I possibly can about owning an electric car and the technology. And I yield to your engineering electrical excellence that I've seen you talking about it previously in the last chats because I'm not an engineer, but I am pretty good with IT. So in terms of maximizing software and things like that, I'm very good at that. But yeah, it's having said that, I've owned a range of performance cars in the past, but there's nothing can compare to this car. Absolutely nothing. And nor can you ever go back to those cars, by the way. WRXs, Golf Rs, V8s, not a chance. And I mean, even if let's just say that someone pulls up next to you in a hypercar at the lights, unless they've got their launch control on, they're sitting at 4 or 5,000 RPM or something like that, and you're doing a race to 60, they've got no chance. Not in this car, yeah. I must say, I was also tempted by the Model Y Juniper Performance too, but the purist of me prefers the sports sedan in terms of what it offers. It's lighter, more nimble. The handling is just on another level. But having said that, if we ever replace my wife's car, probably be the Model Y for her, in the standard. So she's got like that car.
Shane, we've got a dirty little secret
Yes.
on Ask Us Anything and in
Right.
Tokyo in general.
Yeah.
That dirty little secret is you sort of said if you replace your wife's car, it's not
Yes.
if, it's just
Not
when.
when.
And I
Yeah.
guess the only question is how long are you going to make your wife put up with the ICE car that she's driving at the moment?
Yes.
and the the pull factor to swap it out for a Tesla
Mm,
is significant. And every day that passes
mm,
that you two experience this awesome new car,
yeah.
you're just going to go, look, I don't care. Just take my money. I only live once. I'm going to save fuel from day one and have
Mm,
a much better and safer and more profound experience. So
yeah. Yeah.
I dare say, and yeah, look, I just dare say within the next 12 months, I think you'll do the right thing by your wife, who you love
Ah,
dearly, and work
well, this
out.
is getting recorded, so she's going to watch this as evidence. So,
Only if you tell her, and
yeah,
I guess you'll just have to because she got a mention. So,
yeah.
so
But I mean, and then
Shane's.
I was going to say the other problem with that is that she just basically says, "Oh, look, I'm happy with the rear-wheel drive standard black is what she would take," and I would be like, "Well, I'm just might be just tempted to bump you up, and have the set, have both of them, the both performances in the garage." But she
Oh,
doesn't really need it, so there's no point really.
no. So,
Yeah.
but put it this way: if you were to say something like, "Oh, maybe I might get the performance in a couple of years," or
Mhm.
the black, actually, black's not the cheapest option, so it's actually Poverty Pearl White, just incidentally.
I think
So,
it doesn't matter when you get the performance; all colors are included
oh no,
in
no,
how
no,
it
no, no.
costs.
But she was happy with the rear wheel drive.
Yes,
So if
yeah,
you got
yeah.
the rear wheel
Oh,
drive,
true, true,
then
true.
Poverty Pearl White is the cheapest. And to
Yes.
be brutally honest, if the difference was you'd be inclined to order that shortly,
Mm,
then as everyone wisely says, happy wife, happy life.
true.
Uh, she'd be extraordinarily happy with that
That's right.
rather than waiting for, say, 1 or 2 years for a car that has stuff that she wouldn't use, such as the lightning performance of a performance Model Y, as awesome
Yeah,
as that is.
yeah, yeah.
Um, any Tesla is a great car to drive, and the
That's
Model
very true.
3s and the Model Ys are the world's safest cars, and it's just a fact.
Mm,
And obviously with FSD, if you add that on top, which on the second car would be an add-on, that would have to be
yep,
a subscription at
that's right.
$149 a month, which us dumb humans need to decouple because we're really good at ignoring sunk costs because you just
Mm,
buy something for $10,000 and go, oh well, it's spent and gone.
mm,
But if you then convert that to a monthly subscription at $149 a month, people will say, yeah, but I don't really use the car that much, or gee, it's a lot per kilometre.
mm,
But again, uh, the $150 would only be run out or equalised after about 6 years of ownership. And not many
yes.
people keep cars for 6 years. But anyway, for yeah, for Mrs. Courtney, I trust that hubby's going to do the righty by you and put you out of your ice car misery
It's a matter of
because
time, I'd say. Yeah.
yeah, and it just becomes a no-brainer. And
Mm,
there's no doubt that Teslas as a car are the best value for money. Now, it is true that not everyone can afford that value for money, and that's a different issue. But
yeah.
you only live once. And look, Model Y, the best thing about that is honestly for anyone that's older than a teenager, it's so much more comfortable to get in and out of.
Yeah.
Notwithstanding that, I like how you said you like the nimbleness of it, the lowness of it, the cool
Yes.
look.
That's right.
Um, but if you want just a mum's taxi, then Model Y is it. Absolutely. And if you want to
Yeah,
go
that's right.
even better, if you want to go Hollywood, get the YL because those
Oh,
middle row captain
Harold,
seats are
you,
Here we go.
absolutely unbeatable. And
Harold, you
Yeah.
just said exactly what I've been hanging out to say. I've been
yeah,
waiting
I
to.
took the words right out of your mouth, Pete.
It
And
did. Great minds think alike. What I was going to say is that a good in-between option is the Model Y L, both in terms of performance and cost. But
Mm,
obviously, Shane likes the full self-driving. And
yeah.
once we get full self-driving unsupervised,
Mm,
I've been making the argument that the best form factor for that as your own car is the Model Y L, because what you can do, the second row captain seats, you can put those right to the back. You fall down the third row of seats. You've got a huge boot, but you've got a huge amount of leg room. It's like a limo in that second row once you put them all the way back. So once the car's driving for you, you don't have to be behind the steering wheel. That's got to be the way to go. And with that huge 681 kilometres of WLTP range, I mean, it's the way to go, I'd say.
Yeah. Not a bad performance figures, and I think it's 5 seconds, 0 to 100 or something like that as well.
It is
Yeah.
five on the dot.
Yeah, but Shane, you got to remember 5Ks for a conventionally fueled vehicle is in very fast car sort of
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's 80%
category.
faster than anything on the road. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not actually the 0 to 100 that really is the bang for the buck. It's the 80 to 110.
Mm.
It's that acceleration of while you're overtaking someone, where you can do that
That's right.
safely, right up to the speed limit. You know, and it's that nippiness, which is the opposite to fossil fueled vehicles. Fossil
Yes.
fuels will be better low down, but not so good at the higher speeds. The Teslas are the inverse of that. The slower versions are the inverse of that. They've got plenty of power. They're basically unleashed at the top end, and it's a lower end that they're a little bit less nippy, but still awesome.
I mean, the
Well-
high-end performance cars at the top end, they are faster and they will overtake the Tesla rather than when they get their feet, when they get their legs and they start going. But where are you going to use that before you lose your license and put
In
in jail?
Australia, that's right.
And get your car confiscated, you know?
Yeah,
So, you know, it's only something for the racetrack that you could use anything like that anyway. So,
exactly.
but-
Alrighty, so well, once again, welcome, and I do look forward to Mrs. Courtney finally driving her Tesla.
yeah,
all right,
interestingly,
let's-
I was going to say she's got a profile that I've invited her to the car. She hasn't had a chance to drive it yet, though. I did actually give her a key in the app, so she can
very
actually
good.
see the profile. But unfortunately, someone keeps hogging the car when we drive. so
Yes,
it's-
well, you know, I would continue to be doing that at your own peril, just
Yes.
quietly. And look, the thing too is, it's a new car. Not everyone's used to it. Sometimes people come to it slowly and sort of are introduced to it slowly, and then
Yep.
because it can sort of be a bit overwhelming in the sense that there are very scant controls. It's an iPad on wheels. That's a little bit different, but once you get used to it, it's just a no-brainer.
Mm.
But once again, Shane, welcome, and we might just try, because this is still the opening part of the program. We'll see if there's anyone else who is new and would like to unmute and say hello. Or perhaps a little bit later on. Alrighty. There's obviously been a lot happening this week, a lot. I mean, we've had the big Terafab, I guess you would call it the announcement of the location, and I just don't quite remember where it is. It's someplace in Texas. It really doesn't matter what it's called, but it's going to be indisputably the world's, once fully completed, the world's largest building by any category. It's going to cost, I was going to say hundreds of billions of dollars, and that's probably correct, probably. And it's going to transform the production of AI chips, and that's a great thing. I think it's hard for us mere mortals to grasp the enormity of it, and that this is something that will happen. But I guess a great way of moderating our skepticism is to think about, if any of us recall, when there were announcements made around Starlink, and that there would be thousands of communication satellites in low Earth orbit, and they would provide universal high speed, high bandwidth data covering every inch of the planet. And, you know, less than 10 years later, it's not only been done, it's been done beyond expectations. So Terafab is is the site's been announced. There is obviously a joint venture between SpaceX and Tesla for as long as those two companies are separate and before they inevitably get merged. So yeah, really exciting times ahead. I should have actually set myself up a little bit better, but it's been a very busy day. There has been other news. So one of the things I didn't sort of put it in the news because it's not really quite finished. Although what has been finished is actually well, it's a great achievement for Western Australia, albeit done privately, and that is we now have. Hopefully, this thing is showing up and my computer stops freezing. We've now got Haynes Find, Kew, and the Capricorn Roadhouse as fast DC charger locations. And that was actually done by a company called Illumina. You can see the Haynes Find Tavern and Roadhouse. This is the battery backed or battery buffered it's roughly 150 or 140 to 160 kilowatt Illumina fast DC charger at Haynes Find. And we've got at the Kew Roadhouse another unit. Just incidentally, you saw someone with their finger pointing to this button. Please, when you get to the Kew Roadhouse, press this button. That will start the canola fueled generator that's just behind this fence to basically power this thing, or should I say recharge it when your charging session is finished. And then we have unfortunately it's 521 kilometers to the north. We have the Capricorn Roadhouse, and then we have another Illumina there in a sea container. Sadly, there was a decision made to put these units in a sea container primarily for seemingly protecting it from heat. But what this has actually done is protect the unit from mobile communications. So this unit is actually offline on ChargeFox. So if you look at it on your ChargeFox app, it'll show as offline, but it definitely does work in free vend. Upcoming is the Karralundi Caravan Park, and there is an Illumina there, but there's no power connected to it yet. And that's something that Horizon Power is working on. There's a permit that's been sought to get that connected. So that will be done over the coming weeks or months. And the gap between Karralundi when that gets done will be to Capricorn will be 350 kilometers. Now there is another site that is being considered, and that's at Coomarina. Right here, there's another roadhouse, but that hasn't been finalised at this stage yet. But look, it's a great achievement. TOCWA actually commissioned a study into the Great Northern Highway, and ironically also into the general reliability of the WAEV network. I guess you could say at least the study foreshadowed the importance of the Great Northern Highway being serviced by fast DC chargers. I think the study, well, the point of the study was to try and encourage government to make this happen. As it turns out, private industry has come into play with, albeit a 50% contribution, cost contribution made by the Charge Up program initiated by the WA government. So it's not quite complete yet. You can't quite get to Karijini National Park easily just on DC charging. what you would basically need to do at this stage is ideally overnight at the Karalundi Caravan Park on a 15 amp outlet. In the 8 or 10 or 12 hours you'd be there, you'd have much, much, much more than enough charge to make it to Capricorn Roadhouse. So congratulations to Illumina Global for doing this. Like I said, it's a work in progress, but it will be finished as soon as humanly possible. Actually, I might now, since it's the early part of the program, if there is anyone who is new and's got any questions, please do ask away before we talk about some other stuff about the WAV network. And please note, don't think that any question is dumb or basic or whatever. This is literally called Ask Us Anything, so please ask away. Okay, tough audience tonight. All right, so let's press on to.
How did you want? I just wanted to. I'll do a PSA for, for our Tesseract. After I had the latest update, the calendar desynced. So you have to go back into your app to actually sync it back up. So you sort of do that by clicking the 3 lines in the corner and then click on your profile and then toggle the calendar sync.
So like your phone kicks it off or it kicks itself off.
So it's the phone app where that was the problem sort of stuff. Found that this week because, we always use our calendars to navigate us to the next.
Yeah.
And
good point.
So I just thought, new owners or normal owners, Yeah,
absolutely.
Just a quick one. Sorry, just
yes,
a quick
Ryan.
one. With the latest update, I don't have full self-drive, but I got the latest update came through on my Model 3 Hardware 4. I've noticed the next morning, and I haven't driven a lot since, but the next morning I noticed the high beam behavior had changed, and it wouldn't put the automatic high beams on in certain situations. 5 a.m. in the morning, so it's pitch black, but on probably suburban country, I live in Jarrahdale, so country suburban streets, the high beams would not come on, and I had to hold the button down, not even holding it down for 2 seconds, letting go. I had to hold it down continuously to have the high beam shine. Is that normal?
Okay, so I guess the main question is what happened when you went past that region, when it went out of that town? Did it then resume?
Southwest Highway, it was fine. Carnup Road, it was fine.
Okay, so actually, believe it or not, I think that's a positive thing because I'm all but certain that high beam is not actually permitted in built-up areas. In fact, I think that is a definition that in WA at least, and probably most other states, you're actually not permitted to activate high beam in a built-up area. Now, of course, it depends on what your class of built-up area, but that's just a legislative definition. So I dare say, look, one thing it does too is adaptive or automatic high beams will respond to bright street lighting and correctly turn off because you shouldn't be having high beams in well-lit streets. So it could have been a combination of that, or the update has correctly, hopefully, identified that you really shouldn't be using adaptive high beam of any kind, high beam of any kind, even adaptive, in built-up areas. So I'd call that a progression, not a regression. But I haven't noticed it myself. I haven't driven enough at night lately. So I hope for legal reasons or for compliance reasons, that's what's happening.
Yeah, sure thing.
Cool. All right, anyone else? Since we've got a couple of questions coming, sometimes one question leads to another. Or not. All right. So it's very difficult to speak about the WAV network. It's a very emotional subject, but there has been some progress. So for anyone who is not familiar with it, let me just flick over to the website so you can always see it on full screen. If that just worked, come on. All right. So obviously you just go to waevn.tokwa.cloud. And thankfully, for anyone who's remembered, actually I think last week, if we just looked at Horizon Power, we had just crossed the 100 hours of time wasted. And now we've progressed that by another 44 hours. The good thing is, if we look at our handy dandy map, a few sites have actually have improved. So notably Broome. So Broome was a bit of a black hole. Previously, with charging sessions, it would just put out 3 kilowatts. Due to reasons I'll explain a bit later, that problem has now resolved. So we had our first charging session today at a fairly healthy 55 kilowatts, bearing in mind that this 67 kilowatt hour car rocked up at 75% solar charge. So that's a really good thing. And also notably, if we go to Kaiguna, that was a bit of a problem child as well, because that was only putting out 3 kilowatts. And now it's jumped up to 8 times that power level at 25. Now, I know 25 isn't a lot. Its current nameplate has been set to, its current configuration has been set to 30 kilowatts. It's slightly under at the moment. That might just be a configuration issue. This is because Kaiguna is installing a solar system with battery storage, and it's probably not quite yet finished. So they can't get it back up to the 50 kilowatts nameplate that it should be, but at least it's 8 times the power of what it was just a few days ago at 3 kilowatts. And incidentally, for anyone who hasn't seen this dashboard before, you can see that people have wisely plugged in on the Type 2, the AC charger, because at roughly 11 kilowatts, it was more than 3 times the power of the DC charger, so you're actually getting a better deal. So there's some very good progress. I mean, I guess when something is in such a parlous state, even little victories like this actually mean something. It's an incremental move forwards. I guess the only thing that's disappointing is it took someone to make a phone call at random to someone to get this done, and that's sort of that's the sort of thing that shouldn't have to happen. Subcontractors and suppliers that are involved with the WAEV network, and I wouldn't want to name names, but JetCharge, you know who you are. And I'm saying that name as in my position as chair of the Tesla Owners Club of WA, which is an incorporated body. So if you want to sue, you know who to call. But it's unbelievably frustrating that an essential network that covers roughly a third of the area of Australia is basically held hostage by a supplier that, given their current and past performance, clearly are disinterested in the ongoing proper operation of this network. And to the defense of Horizon Power, they are in many senses just as much a victim of externalities as we indeed as EV owners are. But like I said, as a result of a fortuitous phone call, suddenly at least this issue of low power caused by a product that JetCharge supplies at quite a great expense namely Core. And what it does, and we might as well explain it, on the off-grid sites, the chargers aren't really configured to slowly ramp up their power levels. So JetCharge has a product called Core, and its prime purpose is to inject commands into the Tritiums or the Kempowers to tell them to slowly change their maximum power output. And that way you can ramp up the power. You're gentler on things like the battery inverters and diesel generators. And sadly, when that system fails to work, as it has done so many times for so many months and in fact years, when that system stops injecting those commands, the charger is stuck at its default extremely low power output of 3 kilowatts. And that has a real human cost. And the amount of time that it has wasted EV owners is not just 144 hours that we've measured incidentally. That measurement of that time wasted is only for the last 18 days. So in 18 days, various faults of the WAV network have wasted 144 hours, or roughly 8 hours per day. And if you think about it, that's the time wasted directly charging. But what it can't measure is the fact that someone expected to be in Port Hedland one evening and got stuck at Sandfire and had to sleep in their car, in the discomfort of their car in Sandfire, as opposed to the comfort of a motel room in Port Hedland. So obviously this website can't capture those stories and that experience. And, you know, it still is outrageous in 2026 that EV owners traveling remotely are treated like third-class citizens and have to treat such a regular drive that everyone else does as an adventure, when the only thing that should be adventurous is dodging cattle and camels and kangaroos and other things. But what shouldn't be adventurous is getting to a place and not knowing what you're going to get, or just having to put up with. Some people don't have a Type 2 cable, and nor should they necessarily have to have one. They may have to just sit somewhere and get 3 kilowatts, which means their car will be fully charged in 24 hours. Anyway, enough of that rant. The little bit of good news is it's incrementally getting better. This dashboard is doing the job it's intended. It basically sets Horizon Power's homework, and it also lets us check their homework. And hopefully it focuses the minds of suppliers like JetCharge to do what they're contracted to do and ensure that the products that they supply and sell actually do what they're supposed to do. So anyway, hopefully someone's got a question about something else that we can focus on for a bit and get away from that WAV network.
Hello, Harold. I'll just put a couple of quick notes in the chat about the high beam situation.
Oh, yes, and I think that's Mike, even though you look like the Soup Dragon.
I have my extra anti-surveillance device on tonight. So I just quickly looked up on the net. So yes, there was a 2026 change from the National Transport Group on a few things. So nationally, from the NTC, it says, yes, no high beams on any road that is lit and within 150 metres of others on the road. However, WA rules are different. It does not specify if the road is lit or not, but says you're not allowed within 200 metres of a vehicle. That's a quick look.
Right, very good.
So it's probably one of these things where there's mapping data that is probably got national sort of interpretations, and here we in WA are doing things differently as usual.
Yeah, so then I would have thought Tesla, I'm pretty certain that cars are imported into Australia under federal regulations. So then I would have thought the federal. Hmm. So sorry, Mike, are you saying there
So
is
nationally, it does talk about street lighting, that you can't
right?
use it,
That'll be it then.
but,
Yeah.
but WA, under
Yep.
WA Gov Road rules explained, there's nothing about lighting when headlights and fog lights can be used. It just says not permitted if you're 200 meters behind or within if a vehicle is coming towards you, basically.
Gotcha. So therefore, the national rules would win as far as the characteristics of a car imported into Australia.
Yes, probably.
Yeah, I'd say so. So, because of course, none of these rules, well, many of the rules are behavioral, contemplating manual human behavior or interactions with the high beam. The rules sort of, well, should I say, the Australian design rules, there may or may not be a stipulation for adaptive high beams yet. It may simply be they're not prohibited, so therefore they're allowed. But later,
I mean,
they'll.
WA assumes that drivers are going to do the right thing, which we mostly do, but of course, occasionally people forget.
Well, the thing is, when you've got automatic adaptive high beams, the driver can't actually do anything. And in fact, in autopilot, it's mandated, or in FSD, it's mandated that adaptive high beams are enabled. And in fact, if they're disabled, the car automatically re-enables it. So if anything, the car is in more control than we are.
Yes, but that rule, I think WA's rule is better because you can have a situation in was it Ryan who was saying about you've got a, shall we say, outer suburban where you've got junctions, T junctions or whatever, might have lighting around them naturally, but they could be 3 kilometres apart. But on the network, the system's seeing it as a lit road, which it isn't.
Yep.
And my estate is covered in kangaroos in the morning. So it's
Yes.
but that's a unique situation. I don't think. The other thing, since you said that, Harold, the other thing I remembered was when the high beams are unable to be turned on, the auto high beam icon is grayed out, whereas when it's adjusting for oncoming cars or a light in the distance, it doesn't grey out; it stays blue. So that
Ryan,
makes me think.
was it foggy? Was there a lot of fog in the area, or a brightly lit cloud?
No, nothing like that. But it was if like you can see the high beams adjusting when it does that adjustment and they drop down, the icon stays blue.
Yep.
But in this scenario, it was greyed out, which makes me think it is a rule or something. Yeah.
Look, I did have, albeit it was on the previous version of FSD, so it was 14.3.3. It did have a couple of frustrating places where if there was brightly lit cloud, and that when I say brightly lit, I mean from moonlight, so it was roughly a full moon-ish. It didn't seem to want to come on for quite a while, and I was having to manually jam it on. This was in the middle of nowhere, so it wasn't anything to do with street lights or a quasi-urban area. But there were a couple of glitches where it sort of didn't really want to come on or back on. So it could be something like that too, Ryan. I'm just not sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get these quirks. I guess it'll work itself out fairly quickly once more of us get experience at night time in different locations to get that sort of built up knowledge of what's going on. Alrighty. Has anyone got any questions or comments? And please, if you're new or you've watched the program for a while and you've got any question whatsoever, even something quirky, doesn't matter. This is the whole point of this program.
Yeah, so Harold, There
Yes,
is a
Steve.
question in chat saying, do you have any updates on the Tesla superchargers at Geraldton, Southern Cross, and Esperance, all of which are listed on the website as being vote winners?
Right. So obviously, look, Esperance is a very fresh winner. So clearly that's nothing's going to happen to that for a while. Southern Cross, there was a blockage at the council, which has become unblocked by good fortune, and that's about as much as I'm going to say about it. So we can expect that that will be done as soon as possible, and that also goes for Meriden, because basically installing Meriden prevents Southern Cross from being a shag on a rock in the middle of nowhere. So the other one was Geraldton. I can't remember. Is Chuck in the room? He might not be in the room tonight, but I'm not sure if Geraldton's got approval from the council. I could be wrong on that. Maybe not. But look, make no mistake, Tesla doesn't dilly-dally as far as superchargers are concerned. They are serious when they want to install them. Like I said, Southern Cross it looked like a notable exception. It appeared to us to lay eyes that Tesla was just going to put that on the Never Never and the slow burn, but it had nothing to do with that. It was actually a blockage to do with the Shire of Yilgarn that at the time was intractable until a chance meeting happened. So look, it's coming. And the same thing will apply. In fact, I'll just get the last tally for Balladonia when it wins this current supercharging round. And the good news is it's about 100 votes clear of Sejuna. I'll just bring it up.
When
And
you're
this
doing
is
that,
as-
Harold, Meriden is supercharger would be really good because the dashboard shows that Meriden is in degraded mode.
Is Meriden the one that's got one nozzle?
Yeah, Meriden one
Yeah.
handset doesn't use
Yeah, one
work for anyone
handset.
inside works.
Yeah. So here's you're dead right, Steve. So here's the current tally. So this was as of 9 a.m. this morning, and Balladonia is at the top at 766 votes. Second is Sejuna at 667, and Norseman is 541. In the Asia Pacific region, we're actually placed second, which is important. So it's great to see, and I think there is less than 2 weeks left of this supercharging round. So please, if you haven't already voted, do go on Tesla's website. Basically, you just go to I think it's called charging. It's a charging link, and then you go to supercharger voting, and then you need to log in with the Tesla account. You only get to do one vote or apply one vote per site. So please be strategic. If you haven't yet voted, do vote for Balladonia and Sejuna. I know it sounds churlish. Please don't vote for Norseman. Not because Norseman isn't important to have a supercharger, but because Balladonia is east of Norseman, it goes without saying that, again, Tesla is not going to put Balladonia out as a shag on a rock. It will obviously backfill Norseman. And in fact, not only will it backfill Norseman, it will also backfill Coolgardie or Kalgoorlie, so that then that links with Southern Cross. Just like it was great to see Esperance as last quarter's winner, because it will necessarily backfill Jerramungup and Ravensthorpe on the way to Albany. So that's what we want to do. We want to stretch Tesla and help them, because basically and this is official, supercharger voting winning sites are actually given it's a separate funding stream as part of the supercharger program. It's intended to install sites that may not necessarily be the most obvious to do, immediately. And also, while you're there, when you go into the charger section of the Tesla website, go to suggest a supercharger voting candidate location, and please do UCLA. And like I said, if you look at it, it's really easy to do. And what we really want for the next round, we want for this round for Belladonna to win, and to clinch the Nullarbor to be crossed by superchargers. We want UCLA to be suggested as next quarter's voting round, because then we as a community will make sure as Australians that UCLA gets up, and then that will solve the Nullarbor and save us from some of the slower sites of the WAV network and the NRMA, to be perfectly blunt, because Tesla, no one does fast DC charging better and more reliably than Tesla. James, you got your hand up.
Oops. Yep. With the headlights, I was thinking the rules are that you can't use them, and the only way you can get caught though is if you dazzle a police officer. So it doesn't matter if you're using them or not. The only way you can get in trouble is if you dazzle a police officer, because that's the only way they'll know you're doing the wrong thing. So I was thinking, as long as they're on the road driving towards you, they would not know you have your high beams on, because it's dark. So it doesn't matter. It's a case of they can't test that you had them on. However, I think the worry would be the policeman at night on the side of the road, maybe with his radar gun or watching, he's going to get dazzled because he's off the side of the road where it's highlighting things in the bushes so you don't hit them, which is,
Yes.
and it doesn't matter, that argument will not work, because you say, oh, I was only dazzling you in the bushes, not the oncoming cars. But it'll be an interesting one. I just read an article there that there is a global rule that Australia is looking to adopt in the next cycle of ADRs about adaptive headlights, but it's not there yet. But I just thought you're more likely to not get caught because I won't know.
Yep.
And it's in that site, James, that I quoted for the national changes. It says the following: state police now utilise infrared-enabled dash cameras that can automatically detect unlawful high beam operation. So you don't have to dazzle them if they've got a gadget.
But that would mean they'd have to be high beaming them, and if you're using Matrix, you wouldn't be doing that.
Oh no, if it automatically dipped, it's not a problem. No.
Yeah.
But to say
Well, hopefully that might mean the police pick up the four-wheel drives towing caravans, and because they never adjust their high beam, the low beam is pushed up to look like high beam, and very, very few caravan or people towing caravans adjust their headlights, and they blind you worse than most others on high beam.
I thought of that. It depends how the infrared works, because in theory, high beam is higher intensity infrared than even low beam.
With the new headlights, it's just they've got that horizontal ceiling, and when you've got a heavy caravan on the back, that lifts that up, and I'd say it's the same power as high beam.
No, they're not. They're greater. At least on my old ICE car. I don't know about Teslas because they work differently.
So, Mike, you just said that high beams have got a lot of infrared. Actually, just a minor correction there. The LED ones don't, because they're just putting out RGB.
Yeah, indeed. No. I mean, this is set up obviously for traditional cars.
Yeah. Well, and don't forget the ADRs only have a wattage rating, which is immaterial when you've got LED lights that are so much. You should really have a lumen rating.
Yes,
basically
about the problem with LED lighting. So again, the authorities will get round to it after everybody gets annoyed enough.
Indeed.
The real trouble with the headlights is the trucks who appear, because they're like 6 feet above their own headlights, so they come over the horizon a lot sooner. And yours don't dip until their lights appear, which is you've already blinded them.
And the worst thing is, and it, was it Shane that said that what convinced him was the fact that the new Model 3 had turning indicator stalks and other things. I know Elon Musk rightly bangs on about the best part is no part at all, but sometimes, and in fact, he actually does concede. If you don't actually add back 10% of the parts you deleted, then you're not actually deleting enough parts. But it concedes the fact that you can actually delete too many, and sometimes you've got to put them back. And there was that progression from the Highland Model 3 of conceding that actually turn indicators are better on something other than a Cybertruck, which has a much smaller turning circle or turning angle of the steering wheel. You do need indicators because us dumb humans still appreciate that. We definitely still do appreciate a high beam stalk because, James, like you said, the worst thing, and I guess it's mainly Australian roads, or I don't know. The worst thing is you've got trucks coming the other way and you're on a straight piece of road. And many roads in Australia are straight because they're only going one way, and you might as well do that in a straight line in the middle of nowhere. And the classic thing is a truck could be on its high beams in the distance, you're on your high beams, you get to a certain threshold, the car will detect it, it will paint a black box around the truck, and that's great on the adaptive high beams. Works really well. Problem is the truck eventually gets a bit closer where it goes, well, I might turn my high beams off now. It does, it goes to low beams, it's less intense, still straight down the road. And then your adaptive high beams decide to go, oh, actually, there's not that really bright light in the distance. Now I can actually go back to high beams. So it reactivates high beams. And even though the law might say you need to deactivate your high beams within 200 meters or 400 meters of an oncoming vehicle, you can be kilometers away and be quite bright with LED high beams. And the other thing the law says is you need to dip your high beams when the other oncoming vehicle dips theirs. So yours come back on, you start doing this brinkmanship. And I mean, I've just done it the last weekend, and you go, come on, high beams, please turn off, please turn off, please turn, or at least suppress. And it doesn't, and it eventually does, but you know you've really annoyed that truckie. And some truckies, in fairness, give you like a bit of a salute where they jam their high beams on 50 meters before they pass you, and it's basically like a you know what to the person, you know, because you were being well, they didn't know it was automatic. They just thought it was you trying to annoy them successfully. So whereas a stalk can actually do this sort of thing easily, the way that the press button works, for anyone that doesn't know, you can actually suppress automatic high beams with the press of a button. That's fine. It'll suppress it straight away. But when the truck truly does come close and you do want to get a view of the side of the road so you can see those kangaroos and cows, a la the Great Northern Highway and others, you can't put them back on without holding down the button for a third of a second and no less. And while you're doing that, your entire adaptive high beam goes away and it jams onto full high beam. So you look even worse. So it's really, to be brutally honest, it's a bit of a safety issue in the outback with wildlife, because most of us have to just resort to turning them off at a fair distance and leaving them off until the oncoming vehicle passes us. And in the meantime, we lose that advantage of seeing wildlife on the side of the road.
See, Harold, you've explained the situation quite well there. With those national comments, there's 4 dot points, and one of them is you can't use your high beam if the driver dims the lights within 3 seconds of any approaching vehicle. So if I'm reading it and understand it correctly, if the guy coming the other way drops his lights, then you've got 3 seconds to react.
Yeah. Yep.
Whereas the WA one doesn't go into any of that at all.
No, but we all want to be good citizens,
Yeah.
and we all need to cooperate on the road. And one thing we need to do is lower the temperature, as politicians would say. And there's no better way to raise someone's temperature than to really dazzle them with bright LED high beams. That's just an issue. Like I said, sometimes, and there is a fancy way that I can't quite remember this moment, but there is a fancy way of getting your one push button to do what it needs to do. But that could collide with ADR rules, and it's just an extra hurdle that we just don't need. But anyway, Pete, oh, sorry, is anyone else going to comment on that, or we can go to Pete?
I was just going to add to that. I thought it was interesting in America they had a recall of 20,000 Teslas because their lights were too bright in the federal laws. Did you see that? From 17 to 23, they recalled.
Yeah, it was for the
20,000
low
Teslas.
beam, wasn't it, Shane?
Yeah, that's right.
Low
Just the
beam was
standard
too
lights.
intense.
Yeah.
So one thing I do know Tesla was working on and they were promising was adaptive high beams would be even cleverer. And this also applies to low beam because I'm pretty certain it's exactly, in the modern Teslas, it's exactly the same unit, is that on high beam, so on an enhanced version of adaptive high beam, and anyone who's got LED lights knows, especially if you've got LED floodlights, the worst, and it's amazing, you can be driving in the middle of nowhere and within 10 kilometers, I don't know, is there 100 signs or things that reflect at you, whether it's the cat's eyes, the white thingies with the reflectors, whether it's a sign that says there's a corner coming, or a speed sign, or a whatever. The amount of retro-reflective signs you can see on a barren highway is just insane. And on super bright high beams, it just is glaring to the point of it actually stops you from seeing wildlife. So what Tesla did announce in an upcoming software update was they were going to actually incrementally dim the adaptive high beams, and by extension that would also apply to low beam, so they could digitally dim it. So I think with that recall, that's something that could be done in software. You just pulse width modulate the low beam or any beam down to the brightness it needs to be or should be.
I've put a link in the chat, Harold, to that article talking about the recall of the 3s and Ys, older 3s and Ys. NHSTA requires it, so it's a physical
Yes.
change.
Oh, okay. That'd be the older ones then. Yep. Which can't be
Yep.
pulse width modulated.
Yep.
Okay, we'll go to Pete and then Leslie.
So I was just going to say, because we were talking at one stage about RGBs, so the Cybercab, the front light bar is RGB, which is pretty cool. So yeah, all sorts of possible use cases for that. So one that I saw on X was, obviously you can envisage that there'll be a lot of these running around. And when you summon one, or when you go into the app and ask for one to come to your location, they're, after a concert or what have you, there could be 10 or 20 people. So how do you know which one's yours? Which Cybercab belongs to you? So the RGBs could be, you could have a unique pattern or a unique color that could apply to you. And that way everyone would know which Cybercab is theirs, which I thought was quite clever.
Oh, so you could basically, your app could say, look for the one with the green front lights or the blue
green
front
and
lights.
red or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, but well, because they're all gold, they all look the same, and no one can read the number plates.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good.
Yeah, I thought that was a good idea.
Well,
go on. So was someone going to say something?
No. So, all right. Well, I'll get back, unless you're continuing with that, Pete, we might go to Leslie and then we can go back to you, mate, if you like.
No worries.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, Leslie.
Hi, I have a Tesla 3 and had a warranty claim recently because the door seals, the lower door seals on all 4 doors were actually sagging almost down to the end of the door. I had them fixed under warranty, but I had dreadful trouble trying to make a warranty claim. I had to actually book in for a service to
Yes.
actually get it done. And then they wanted to charge me $250 for a service. I had great difficulty in communicating with them that there was no service required. I just wanted to claim and have the door seals fixed.
So, Leslie, was this? Did you make this claim at Tesla?
Yes, I rang Tesla. I bought it at the Osborne Park
Yep.
Centre. So I
Yep.
rang them to make a claim, sort of
Yep.
thing. But I couldn't actually talk to anyone about the door seals at all. I had to
Yep.
book in for a service to actually talk to anybody. And
Okay.
when I arrived, they wanted me to have the car serviced because I'd booked in for a service. So they wanted to charge me the $245 for a service and told me I really needed to do it because the car's almost coming out of warranty. And it would be good to have so many parts changed under warranty. I was very confused and can't seem to find any factual information to look at. I wondered if you could help me.
So sorry. So you said that they suggested that you needed a lot of parts changed under warranty.
No,
Yes.
Harold. I think you were saying, weren't you, Leslie, that they were suggesting you do an end of warranty service,
Yes.
Yes, correct.
and
Yes.
typically in that they have found there are a few items such as a lower suspension link, arms, and things that need replacing.
So do they
For-
need replacing regularly?
Not necessarily. So was that at an additional cost for those items
Yes.
they suggested?
No, they said the service charge would be $245 and
Yep.
those things would be included under warranty.
Yeah, they were actually doing you a favour, Leslie. I've
Mhm.
actually recommended this to a few people that I know with Teslas,
Mm.
that as they come towards the end of their 70,000 or 80,000 kilometres, the end of their warranty,
Mm.
to pay that $240 odd dollars.
Mm.
And last gentleman I mentioned that to, the upper control arms.
Yeah, that's what they were talking about, arms, and I didn't understand what the term was.
Yeah, so they just need lubrication mainly. There's a few things that they ended up doing. If they needed doing, had he not done them during that, just before the end of his warranty, and done them, 6 months later or 3 months later, would have cost him over $2,000. So
Right.
they were actually doing you a favour. But the other thing also is, I think there might be a bit of a misunderstanding in terms of the term service. So what Tesla would have been saying to you is that you need to put it in as a service request in the app. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're insisting that you do the service. So,
Right.
so on one hand, they would have been recommending that you do one, and they're looking after you.
Yep.
Because that's actually a good thing to do, and I regret not doing it. I've told other people to do it, and I forgot to do it myself on one of my cars, and
Yep.
it's cost me money as a result. So, you've got that on one hand, and on the other hand, they were suggesting that you put it in as a service request, most likely.
Yes.
So that's just the way they work. In order to have an issue dealt with Tesla, you got to put it through the app as a service request.
As a service.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just the terminology. Yeah.
So Pete, I just want to push back slightly on them doing Leslie a favour per se. So unfortunately, there's a little bit of a double interpretation. So Leslie, Pete was definitely correct. The only way you can get anything addressed, rather than phoning, which is what us old school people would naturally do for all past car manufacturers, is everything is app based.
Yep.
And when you look at your app, I'll just spotlight myself so I can zoom in on this. What you do is after you've tapped on the service, you then go to the category that counts. So for you, it would have been exterior.
Right.
And then you can sort of pick different bits. And there's
Right.
actually always a generic So let me just get off Spotlight. You can just pick a generic item and just type in text and say, describe my door seals have sagged.
Right.
And then the app will usually ask you for an appointment time, or it will suggest when you can make an appointment. That is usually a soft booking in the sense that actually Tesla's system, and then sometimes humans will actually look at what you've written or what you've described, and depending on what it is, it could be something that could be resolved remotely, or if it's particularly serious, they may bump you forwards,
Right.
or just abide by the tentative booking that you made. So you could have actually avoided having, I guess, this $200 service and still gotten all of these. They're not recalls; they're engineering bulletins, whereby Tesla will, when they see a car, do things like address control arms and the known problems.
Right.
It's not something that warrants a proper recall, in which case everyone gets communicated to and they are asked to book their cars in. But they will certainly do that along with any other opportunity, or if the car is in the workshop, they will then do those other items anyway. You didn't have to pay them $200 to get them to do that because they were going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
I think there was a slight miscommunication.
Oh, lots of miscommunication.
Yeah, and to be honest, Tesla's customer communication is in need of some improvement in
Definitely.
some cases. They weren't trying to rip you off, but you certainly didn't have to have that service to have those known items addressed. They would have been addressed anyway. This is all great to say in hindsight, but for anyone else watching or listening, please take that as some prior knowledge.
Yeah.
But it also is legitimate. I don't know if they changed perhaps because your car's a few years old, they might have suggested a change to your cabin air filter for the air conditioning. Don't know if they did that. And that's a good idea every couple of years. Having said that, I've driven a car 150 or 60 or 70,000 Ks without changing the cabin air filter, but it was still only a couple of years old anyway. So, it was time for it to be done. If you're really, really handy, you can do it yourself, but after watching a few YouTube videos, but life's short. Tesla would have charged, I don't know, $50, $60, $70 for it. So what? It gets done.
Oh no, I just found that the communication with them was very poor. Being an old grey-haired lady, and that I didn't really feel I was treated very well. Yeah, look, I was treated like a bit of an imbecile instead of trying to teach me or learn. And they couldn't tell me how they reattached my seals either. I didn't want to know whether they were heat treated or whether it was a glue or whatever, and they couldn't give me any answers. Yeah, so the
problem is the people at the front, Leslie, they didn't do the work.
No.
And they're often not technicians themselves. They are basically front of office people, customer service. Whereas in many traditional legacy dealers, you sort of often are talking to usually people that are retired mechanics, or they are mechanics themselves and they are familiar with that.
Yeah.
The people that you talk to usually aren't.
Yeah.
And it's a new thing. Look, Tesla militantly tries to streamline their operations to provide good value, but sometimes for us older people, it's sort of at the expense of old-fashioned service.
Unfortunately, my history is in service. We own many service stations, and my father actually built cars for General Motors, was a production manager. So I'm used to things being explained, not being written off as we can fix anything. Yeah. So
look, the only thing that can make you
a
feel
fault
better.
on both sides. I expect more, and they don't know how to give. Yeah.
No, it's and look, Leslie, it's totally okay to expect what you expected, because that's
Mm.
that's the paradigm. Sadly,
Mm.
that paradigm is shifting in all industries. I mean, you try and contact any major company on the phone, and good luck with that, because it's
Yeah.
becoming increasingly harder. It's just what happens.
Yeah.
I guess
Mm.
the payback on the reduction of human service or face-to-face service is all the costs are going down.
Yeah.
Your car does not need a regular service. Tesla have officially said this. It's not like the legacy car makers or the internal combustion engine makers that where they say you need a 12-month or 15,000 K, or I can't remember what it is
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
You know, oil change and all that sort of stuff.
Mm.
But Tesla does have a few items that they recommend. One was the cabin air filter, which I think is every 2 years or a certain number of thousand Ks. There's a couple of minor things.
Thanks.
You know, they recommend every now and then you get the moisture of your brake fluid tested, which is very cheap. To be honest, I've driven cars that have done a couple of 100,000 Ks and never did that test.
Yes.
And they were okay, but you know, that doesn't necessarily mean that's what you should do.
Yeah.
Rotate tyres as well.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
Pete, I rotate my tyres every time I take the car down the road. So,
Yeah.
and to that end, I've actually got documentary proof. I've got photos of a Juniper Model Y that had done 56,000 kilometers on one set of tyres, never rotated, and the flatness of the tread across the whole lot was amazing, and there was tons of it left. I was super impressed. So, yeah, really, really sad that you didn't get the service that you expected, but honestly, and yet, you know, there was a thing about this $210 charge, but I dare say compared to most other modern car makers or car service centers in these days, and in these sad modern days, you got no worse service than anyone else, to be honest. To be really honest.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm with you.
I'm
I'm
very
with you,
happy
Leslie.
with my Tesla. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's not going to change my mind. I'm just trying to learn how to deal with them. Yep.
Yeah, and sadly, at the moment, so in the future, if you get any concern, just go hit service. It has like a whole list of categories. Pick the closest, and if there's nothing that actually is what you want, there's always an other option, and you just do free text. I know it's a bit. It's like, do I have to text? But just go with the system.
Yep.
And Tesla have always stated they never want to have service as a profit item. It's a means to an end. And in fact, it's a very vital means of getting timely information regarding the cars so they can make changes at the factory. So you would be absolutely gobsmacked at how often Tesla changes their cars. They almost say that changes are made to the vehicles on the production line literally on a daily basis. There are parts that get tweaked and changed. They don't wait for model years. They implement changes as soon as they're relevant or required, and they just don't hold back.
Oh, well, thank you very much for all that information. That's really fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. And look, I really do hope you continue to enjoy your Tesla. It's the best car in the world. And,
is it ever?
Yeah, absolutely. So please do keep on enjoying it. Let's go to Cameron and then back to Cameron and then Penny. And apologies. Yeah, Cameron and Penny. Let's do that.
I actually have a question for Pete in the land of the forbidden Australians. You there, Pete?
I am. Go ahead. Shoot.
I heard you test drove the Cybertruck dual and tri-motor variants.
Sure did. Best thing ever.
Can I ask you about the tri-motor? Did you notice anything like different about the front wheel drive, induction or permanent magnet motor, I should say, compared to the dual motor? when you were like flooring it or anything? Did you manage to have any off-roadish kind of roads with it?
No, I didn't do anything off-road. Wasn't allowed to take the vehicle off the blacktop, so I didn't. Which would have been awesome if I got a chance to take it off-road. But yeah, that was an opportunity. And I didn't really get a chance to launch it as many times as I would have liked. Because most of the time, and this just goes to how good FSD is. I mean, I've been looking forward to driving these Cybertrucks for 2 or 3 years. And we got there, it was after a 30-hour flight. You know, I haven't driven on the right-hand side of the road for about 20 years. I didn't really know LA. And we were driving to San Francisco, and it was just so easy just to press that button and let the car do it. And we ended up doing 3,600 Ks on it, and it didn't put a foot wrong, which is quite amazing. But yeah, getting back to the car, no, I didn't notice. The only thing that I noticed was just that immense power. And I was quite surprised with the dual motor. The dual motor did not feel, I mean, it's probably, actually, I should probably check the figures, what the 0 to 100 is on the dual motor, but it felt quite similar, maybe just under my performance cars. So still very, very quick. But the Cyber Beast, the tri-motor, I mean, my God, that, you know, it just puts you in the back of the seat and just keeps pulling. It was quite something else. So
it is an immense difference.
Yes. I mean, mainly from a static start, you know. So when you put your foot down, because the dual motor is a very capable, is a very fast car, but the tri-motor is just next level again. But yeah, it was quite amazing. I mean, I'm used to. I've got 2 performances. I've got a Performance 23 Performance Model Y, and I've got a 19 Performance Model 3. And I've had them on the track. I've had them on, you know, did the quarter mile thing down at where is it? Where's the Kwinana? Yeah, Motorplex. So I've done all that, and yeah, I have launched them a few times, more than a few times. It's definitely, there's definitely a big difference between a tri-motor Cybertruck and a Performance Model 3. I mean, it's next level. It's the elephant that runs like a cheetah. It's a 3-ton truck that just sprints.
So what you're saying, it is faster than the Model 3?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. And well, the figures are, I think it does 0 to 100 in 2.5 seconds. So my Performance Model 3 is about 3.3 seconds. The Performance Model Y is about 3.7 seconds. So yeah, the tri-motor is definitely faster than any of my performance cars. No, and not just marginally, but it's very noticeable. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, sorry.
Thanks for that. I just I was curious because you got to actually experience it, and you know, you can watch 1,000 videos on YouTube and
100%.
And try and get a feel for it while you're watching it, but to talk to someone that's actually done it.
Even just talking to someone, the best is book a flight and go and do it yourself.
It's about doing everything you've done.
It's definitely worthwhile. I'd highly recommend it. Had the absolute best time. It was just an absolute ball, and I can't fault the whole trip. There's nothing. We didn't have one negative experience. The Americans were extremely polite, very friendly. Got to speak to a lot of Tesla staff actually, but just randomly, like at our hotel, got to speak to the person doing the valet parking. She did valet parking in the evenings, and during the days she worked at the Austin factory.
Is that saying she's not getting paid enough, Pete? Or what's going on there?
No, I don't know. But yeah, so she said she only had just started only like 6 months earlier. So maybe she was only on part time, or yeah, who knows? I didn't ask. But yeah, got to speak to a lot of Tesla staff. So but yeah, the people were super welcoming, really nice. Felt safe and comfortable in all the cities. So we flew into LA, we drove to San Francisco, then we drove back to LA, then we flew to Austin, then we flew to Orlando in Florida, and then Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center, and then we flew to New York and then back to Perth. But yeah, highly recommend it. Sorry, go.
I was just going to say I would go and ask for a slide night, but we've only got 35 minutes to go.
Just quickly, two things with the Cybertruck that are as amazing as that acceleration and that power is the four-wheel steering and the steer-by-wire. And that the combination of the two is just awesome. Like even reversing, you get to see the rear wheels in the rearview mirror, and you can line them up so they're parallel with the curb or the parking lines. The parking bay markings. It's just awesome, and it's quite an odd sensation. So if you go from sort of one extreme, which is only just past 90 degrees, by the way, with that squircle, and then go to the other one, the whole car just sort of almost hops, because you're, doing that. So, and obviously when you go faster, it puts all four wheels in the same direction. So I tried a couple of times taking a few turns at, speed, and it was just like a train on, tracks. It was just holding down. I couldn't believe how much grip and how solid it felt. But then, they go in opposite directions in a car park, and you can do the turning circle was maybe a little bit bigger than the Model Y, but not by a huge margin. So for a massive car, yeah, quite amazing.
You
Exactly.
reckon they'll get?
Sorry, Cameron. Two secs. Let's just. Penny's been waiting very patiently, and then we'll go back to you, Cameron. So, Penny.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Loud and clear.
I just thought I would reply to Leslie, being a woman of more or less the same age, and speak well of the Tesla service. I had to put my car in. I don't use it that much, so it's a couple of years old and only just needed its $10,000 kilometre tyre rotation. And I read the Facebook page and thought, could get it cheaper at Costco, blah, 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 blah. And I thought, I don't live far from Osborne Park, so I'll take it there. Booked in on the app. They said it was going to cost $85 or something or other. And I thought, that's probably double what people are saying I can get on the elsewhere, but too bad. And I was just so impressed because when I went in, they actually then said to me, you don't need to have the tyres rotated, which I thought was pretty good. And they did a couple of things. And so I thought, well, if I had gone elsewhere and just asked them to rotate the tyres, they would have done it and I would have been out of pocket. But the guys basically said, don't worry about it, and charged me nothing. So I was impressed with their service.
That's a great counter story, Penny. And yeah, like I say, it does align with the fact that Tesla have always stated that for them, service is a means of feedback and also keeping cars functional. It's not like traditional car dealers where that is their prime source of income, because selling no car dealer makes money on selling cars. It's on the service and the after sales care and all that sort of stuff. So that's a great story. That's excellent.
And I think it's just getting used to booking via the app.
Yes.
The other thing I wanted to ask was, I found since I've had my car a couple of years, I spend all my time driving, looking out for Teslas and what models they are and noting them. Is that just me, or does everyone do that?
No, I'm sorry. That's just you, Penny. there's something clearly wrong with you. No, we all do that. And look,
We all
some of
do
us, who have had Teslas for a long time, we used to.
Just a
Teslas were
wave.
really rare. We used to wave, and everyone would wave at each other, and it was pretty cool because they were super rare, especially the Model S and X's before the 3s and the Ys. And it was really special. And some of us sad saps used to, for perhaps the last 6 months or up to a year, still wave at Teslas. And you've got, and we were like, obviously the early adopters because we're idiots. No, we were just passionate about cars and about Tesla. And we were all quite devastated where we would wave, and this early majority person that just bought it because they know it's a great car and it's just a car, looks at this idiot going, "Why are you waving at me? Like, what is it? I don't know you." And they wouldn't wave back. And I must admit, most of us are reverting to, we do well, if they wave, we will, but it's probably best we don't preempt it. And almost no one waves anymore. And that's okay too, because it's becoming fully mainstream. But no, Penny, look, they're just great cars. And yeah, there's a lot of challenges because there's the model, like you try and spot a Model YL, and that's actually fairly subtle.
I must admit, I go for the colours usually.
Ah, yes. Yeah. Well, speaking of
I'm not
colours,
that much of a geek, but
well, what's your favourite colour? Is it Poverty Pearl White or is it something
well,
else?
no, I actually like the blue. I don't have a blue, but
Oh, the glacier blue?
Sorry?
The glacier blue, the light blue? Yeah, the silvery blue.
Or the dark one?
Yeah. Well, both actually, but yeah. So I do. And I've never been a car person. Yeah.
Neither have I. I've never been a car. I've always loved driving cars, but I've never been one to, get my hands greasy in an engine or anything like that. Or, but yeah, I never had any. Like someone said to me, "Oh, you'll be a car person," I would have just sort of laughed. But yeah, I'm still not a car person. I'm an EV person, and mainly just a Tesla person. So
yeah. No, couldn't be happier with my decision to have got one.
Excellent. Well, Penny, please do feel welcome to come to any of our casual meetups because
I've been to one. I went to out in the hills somewhere.
Yeah, I can't remember where they were. Was it a while ago, Penny? It would have been a year or two ago.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Was it before Christmas? I had been to one anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. No, very good. No, we'd like to get more ladies in because we hate to be a mob of blokes. Yeah, because and the thing is, Teslas are becoming mainstream. So they're absolutely ordinary people who have no technical interest or, whether they're engineering or technical backgrounds or environmental backgrounds, just normal people are buying these cars because they represent the best value for money. And it's as simple as that. And that's great, it really is awesome.
Yep.
But yeah, good on you for loving a car, Penny, because we all do, and for very good reason. They are awesome. Paul, you got your hand up.
Hi. I put a photo in the chat of my tip run with my wife's Model Y that I did yesterday.
I've got questions. Hang on, if this thing works, come on, do your share screen. That didn't work. Sorry, can you see that? No, you can't see that.
No, I can see your screen.
I can see my Claude screen. That's not right. Sorry. Why did that just... Sorry, let me
While
just open
Harold's
this again.
doing that, Paul, I did a tip run today, but I used a trailer. I didn't put it on the back of my car.
I actually have the
What
the
is
tow
it
hitch
doing
and all
that
that stuff.
for? Sorry, this.
That's all
I
right.
think your photo must have a virus in it. I can see why it's got a virus because you're doing an unacceptably bad thing to your car. Open
Do you want
file.
us just to show you the photo? Maybe just
Your-
spotlight that.
Your
No,
wife's
I will.
car.
I will get it.
There you go.
Yeah,
there
it was
should.
in the chat.
There, spotlight that.
Yeah, it was in the chat, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know.
just. I'm going to be militant, and I'm going to make this computer do what its job is. It's just a computer. Okay, here. Let's try this. Surely that's going to work. There. Oh, you. It doesn't want to do it. I'm not doing it. I've had enough. I'm
Ian,
going to
just
spotlight you because I'm
spotlight
going to be
me.
like a caveman and do it
There
this
you go.
way.
Spotlight. There you go. Spotlight.
There we go. Very
There you
good.
go.
Well, can you
That's it.
zoom in, please? I want to see just the abomination of what you've done to your boot. Sorry, that's your wife's car.
Yeah,
So-
he wouldn't do it on his.
No, he
car.
wouldn't do it in his car. That's right.
It wouldn't fit in the Model 3.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was the excuse, was
Yeah,
it? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I took
Sorry,
down
I
the
can't
fence
put that
and-
building
and-
rubble in my car.
So
Only fits in
the
yours,
fence
honey.
and all that, because we had a picket fence at the front, so that ended up in the skip bin. But all the concrete and metal I took to the tip. So
The least you could have done is put a tarp down, Paul.
I did. I put cardboard everywhere
Not
in there, so
cardboard, a tarp.
down and then on the sides and on the roof and all that sort of stuff. So it didn't damage her car. It was all cool. But I was just like, how cool is the Model Y? It was just hilarious because I rocked up with all the guys with their utes, with the trailers and that sort of stuff at the construction stuff. And I pull up in a Model Y and just start emptying all this stuff out. And there was a major pile. So it was quite funny. No,
You
it doesn't want to work,
stupid
buddy.
computer. It is just mental.
Don't know.
Ah,
But yeah, I was just like, how much space you can get in the Model Y? It's brilliant.
There is
Oh.
something
Hey,
funny
Paul,
going on with that picture, Harold.
sorry, say
There is
again.
something funny going on with that picture because I connect via a web browser, and so it never downloads any pictures. It just has a whirring thing there. But in
Yeah.
Paul's case, not even got a whirring thing. So there's something funny about it. It's not loaded up quite right.
Well, it's just from my iPhone to my iPad. I can
Yeah.
make it smaller if you
can't
want.
see it I can see your post, but I can't see any attachment or anything in my chat feed.
Oh, okay.
I
Works
can.
for
A whole
me,
bunch of
Paul.
people commented.
Yeah.
Work for me.
Me too.
Yeah, as
Anyway,
I said, because
I just thought-
I patch in with a browser as opposed
Yeah, maybe
to the
that's
app.
the problem. But
I
anyway.
can never see.
Harold, try that. I put a new photograph in of
No, it's
Paul's car.
no. It's the problem is, it's my computer. It's
That's not mine.
Harold, just reminding you about the swearing.
Oh, geez.
I know. I'm very sorry. Oh, would you just work properly? All right, here we go.
Yeah, James's one might work.
Oh, that's clear.
Further down the road.
I thought you were getting a new computer, Harold.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Change your mind.
Yeah, well, Paul, you use yours to go to the tip. I use mine for delivery for pickup. So
Yeah, I saw. At least, with mine, once I got all the heavy stuff off, I just pulled the cardboard out, packed it all, and it was all nice and clean. Yours is just straight on there. I was like, did you get the vacuum out and all that, or just went, nah?
nah.
Wow.
But they are
I
really
am-
good cars.
I am going to open that file, James, if it kills me live on TV. Here we go.
Oh,
Let's see
dear.
if this will work. Yay! So I've got questions, James.
James, oh gosh.
Yeah. Look, cars are tools, and yeah.
Some cars are driven by tools.
I like to think
So-
of it as a vacuum, Harold.
Yeah, I trust the grass enjoyed the drive, and it arrived on your front lawn, on your front whatever, safely, and ended up being a good result.
I also did a similar venture in the chat.
Oh, dearie me! I'm now gonna see. I got to
Wait,
save
it's
it
gonna.
because I'm a cave because this computer's driven by a caveman. I've got to save it to a folder and open it with the legacy image opener. Let's give it a try.
I've got to
Um,
move a couple of tons of firewood tomorrow, so now I'm getting inspiration. I think I might top you.
Yeah. Well, I did. I didn't do 2 ton.
Inspired by chocolate.
dearie me. While I'm trying to faff around doing that, Alex,
Alex
you
is
got your hand up.
Yeah, I do. I got a good question here. So
Yes.
in full self drive, 50k an hour road goes into 40. It's 40 up to a set of traffic lights. The road that I'm going onto is also 40 k's, but the car will try and decide to do 60.
Yes.
So I've been bug reporting that to Tesla every day.
What driving mode, Alex? Is that standard or hurry?
On standard.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it does. So when you say 40, was it a 40 proper zone or was it a school zone?
School zone. The
School.
car,
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, school zones are still an issue because obviously they have a time of day aspect, and it's just not doing it. It's just not working that out. And sometimes it doesn't even acknowledge that there's a dual zone, so that there is a school zone. I regularly drive up a stretch of road where it is a school zone, and sometimes it shows the two speed
shows on
limits with the
40.
grayed out sort of like time
Mhm.
clock. Other times it just says, no, it's all 50. When it's not, there's a 40 zone.
Because mine does show the 40 and it just doesn't do 40.
But it's still, yes.
Mm.
So one of the big bugbears worldwide, actually, apart from the United States, where they have the freedom to speed slightly less than the fastest person, so they're the ones that get caught, not everyone else, is FSD at the moment does not properly control speed, whether it's up or down, whether it's up to the 110 that it should be, or anything in between. Sometimes it preemptively, you notice that even though it doesn't display the speed of the slower zone ahead, it actually does start backing off appropriately, but it doesn't do it everywhere, and doesn't always do it. So yeah, it's a bit of an issue, but
Do you
it's
think-
very much known.
Do you think that Tesla will bring back the right-hand scroll wheel so you
Nope.
can adjust?
No. So Ashok Aswami literally said that is a retrograde something. He said they are absolutely not bringing back the maximum speed setting. However, they're going to have to basically do it internally because, unlike the United States, or let's call it North America, the rest of the world is not tolerant of exceeding speed limits, because that's why they're called a speed limit. They're not called a speed suggestion. So
Mhm.
I dare say sometimes Tesla wants the world to flex to their will. In most of the rest of the world that's not North America, the opposite is the case. And Tesla will have to fall in line, because imagine if you've got our cars being unsupervised on unsupervised FSD, you could imagine them racking up large fines, speeding infringements. And if governments are sick of it, they may say something like, well, if a unsupervised autonomous vehicle exceeds a speed limit 10 times, well, we might just impound it. And that's probably not unreasonable. So, no matter who you are and how big you are, eventually you have to abide by the rules.
Yep.
And that will be something that they'll have to work out how to do. The big issue is in version 13, there was a C++ code. It was the only bit of the whole driving thing in FSD Supervised that was hard coded, was that hard speed limit. Everything else was done with neural networks and training. And I think Tesla are just trying to train the behavior of speed compliance, but I guess they just need to do that a little bit harder.
So I'll just keep bug reporting, I suppose.
Yeah, do, because it gives them data. And as they always say, all input is error. So if you keep presenting them with errors, they eventually, well, at least they can never say that we never told them.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Getting back to interesting uses. And that's on a modern spare or a Browmax spare tire too. I hope that wasn't borrowed from the club, because we could get a bit upset.
No, that's mine. I actually modded that. That's underneath the bottom board now.
Oh, you mean because that way you can get more bits of grass on top instead of
Even grass in there now.
Right. So have you got all the grass out yet?
Yeah, that was like a year ago now. It's done a lot of work since.
I bet London to a brick that there's still lots of bits of grass all over the place in little nooks and crannies. So that was our segment of how to abuse your Tesla.
Actually, I've put into chat one more photo. I managed to, you wouldn't believe it, but in the sub boot of the Model Y, I managed to stick a whole grass tree in there. And if you know anything about grass trees, they've got quite a big root ball, and you can't sort of trim that back too much, otherwise you just can't transplant it. It just won't survive. But yeah, it's the smallest grass tree. You know, it was probably only about that big. But yeah, the root ball was massive, but it did actually fit inside the. Can you pull it up, Harold?
Yeah, I'm trying my best, Pete. I'm working with Flintstones technology. Oh, right. There we go.
That was a legal acquisition, was it, Pete?
It was purchased from Grass Trees Australia in Middle Swan. So I didn't go out bush and double it out, if that's what you're implying.
How much, Pete?
Oh, it wasn't too bad. I think it was only about $300, but yeah, they're not cheap. I've got one at the front of my house, which was about 15 times that. It was I got a big triple header, which was about 8,000 and 9,000 or 12,000 or whatever it was. It was something ridiculous.
So I guess you must have bumped it as you got it in there, Pete, because I can see sand spilt. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't me, because that thing weighs about 250 kilo or something. So, there was 4 of us that put that in there, and then getting it out once I got home wasn't much fun, I tell you.
So Pete, you do know that the subfloor, the bottom of the boot, is actually plastic.
Strong enough. I had no problems with that whatsoever. And I made sure, and I said, look, guys, whatever you do, we can't just drop it, because the battery only goes up to the wheels. This could drop straight through and straight to the floor because it's so heavy. So we can't drop it. We've got to lower it down really slowly. But I didn't need to say that, because it was such a tight fit. We actually had to push down on it just to get it to the floor. So it was really the sides, the front and the back sides, they were actually wedging it in and holding it in, rather than the floor in the end.
Because when I pulled mine out to put the spare wheel in, I noticed a couple of little cracks on that plastic piece that goes underneath you, where he's got his pot in the back there.
Yeah, when I flooded my car going through a floodway,
that come to my mind when I seen the cracks. I'm like, maybe that's when I jumped the creek. I don't know.
Yes, indeed. So, very good. All right. Well, that definitely concludes our how to abuse your Tesla. We might do that as a weekly segment. I reckon
That's pretty cool.
we could have
Yeah.
prizes for the worst Tesla abuse. Or
Just
let's
before we finish,
reframe.
then,
Yes.
just as an education, my photograph there, the last one I put in, shows you can fit a 3 meter timber in your car and close the boot. That's the maximum length you can put in.
Is that your YL, James?
No, that's a Y. Funnily enough, my wife won't let me take the YL on the weekends. I don't know why.
Funny that.
That's a good car.
I think I'll have mine delivered, Pete.
Makes sense. Yeah,
That's a good idea, Carmen.
I would recommend it. But you
And
know
for a
what?
bench top, a kitchen bench top, 2.2 meters long by 600 wide, can fit in, but you have to be a bit shorter. My wife had to drive home that time because I couldn't get behind the wheel.
Can you see? Have you seen the new Ram copy car for 3,500 from China unveiled today?
What is it?
It's a copy of a car that they put Ram on the front, and it was delivered. I'll have to send Harold the video, but I don't know if he can show it. But I'd like one. It looks pretty good. I could put the grass tree in it, I think. It's a ute.
Yeah, right. This is just this. What was the length of those
Yes,
timbers?
the long one on the angle is 3 meters. The other's
Oh, very good.
2.4s.
Wow.
Look, I would have. Is this the same car that had all the grass and the?
Yeah.
And the, yeah, right. Is this before or after that grass?
I think after.
Oh, wow. Well, you've cleaned it up fairly well.
Oh, those mats
Although-
come out and they hose off nicely.
Although it is a less
Yeah.
loved Tesla, that's for sure. Look, if I was you, or in my younger days, I would have just like had it poking right out. You can get probably 6 meters if you
No.
just keep going, you know.
Ruins their aerodynamics, though, Harold.
Well, you know, it's what do you call it? Jousting. It's pretty good for jousting.
They do
You
sell.
know, I'm legit.
rack,
I'm
you know.
charging at Bunnings, but legitimately, I'm using the Bunnings services, unlike the MGs that are at Bunnings 24/7.
Yes, quite
One
so.
of those MGs is a employee there at was it Clarkson?
Mindari, yeah,
Mindari?
Clarkson.
Yeah, and they're always there.
I guess that's because it's free.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
bad
a
idea.
very bad idea.
Oh,
It
it's on
saves me hundreds
Facebook.
of dollars. Like, you know, I probably save like $3 in my every time I go to Bunnings. It's they're literally paying me to go to Bunnings.
That's right.
I'm saving thousands.
Isn't that the case in Las Vegas where you get a
Yeah,
free
free drinks.
hotel
Yeah.
room, but you end up paying for the hotel?
Yeah.
Because if you're a high flyer, you get free drinks and a free hotel room. I'm trying to just see if I can get Carmen's thing. This could really. I'll have to do it next week, Carmen.
A
It's going to
Dodge.
be.
You can do it next week. It's a Dodge, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. It's just I'm just too frazzled to do that right now.
Okay.
'Cause I got to go from my phone. I got to email it to myself.
Okay.
We could
Do you
give it
want
a
me to
crack.
email it?
Yeah, if you could email it at chair at tokwa.org.au.
Okay.
chair@tokwa.org.au.
Okay.
So we can slip it in the last 9 minutes of the program.
Okay.
All right, Pete, did you have your hand up, or was that just from before? You're on mute.
Sorry. Only if you don't have anything else to speak about. I was just.
Oh
going
no,
to-
it's just. Well, that's before we do that. Has anyone else got any questions or comments in this dying stage? Shouldn't say that in.
I was just going to tell you that I was able to update my car but I don't know. But it was more than the number you gave me. It's the latest update. So I don't know if that fixed the GPS because it wasn't the number you gave me. It was higher than that.
You mean
Are
for the
you-
navigation data?
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Yeah.
Has anyone else got a higher one than 2026.8?
No.
No.
Are you sure? Yeah, because your navigation, you got two lines, Carmen. Like the software is the top one, and then navigation's the bottom one.
Oh.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
will
so
have two separate line
there's two
items.
software, there's two revision numbers. One's for your main
Okay.
software, and one's just for your navigation data.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the number was higher than that.
Yeah, your software will be like 26, oh,
Dot
2026.20 dot
dot 20.
Six
Yeah.
dot one.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
your software, and your navigation will be under like what Harold had said.
So it hasn't done it.
You'll have to
Well,
check
you
in
need to
your
look.
car.
You need to check, Carmen. So you click on your car menu,
Yep.
and then you go to software, and then
Yep.
you scroll, and then it'll have a separate entry for navigation data,
Oh,
and
okay. No, I
hopefully
didn't.
it'll be 2026.8,
Yeah.
or it might be 2025.8, which means
Oh,
it's
okay.
last year.
Okay, I'll check because I don't think it has, but the release notes said it was small updates.
Yeah, no, that's not navigation. Navigation never has notes. It just arrives,
Okay.
and it just says what version it is, or effectively, well, it's a bit wrong now because it says 2026.8, which implies that the .8 is the number of weeks in the year, and that would imply the end of February. But there are definitely parts of the new map which wouldn't have existed back in February. So
Okay.
I think they've just didn't bother to give an accurate week number. I reckon they just literally typed in, they changed the 5 for a 6 in the 2026, and that was it, job done. So
Oh, okay.
that's
Does
probably
that
what
mean
they've done.
Does that mean the Bunbury bypass road has been fixed as well in the update?
I haven't tried it myself, but I think it has.
I have. I tried it last weekend twice, and yeah, no dramas with the bypass anymore.
That's good news.
Yeah, I'm going to Busso this weekend.
Excellent. All right.
Nice.
Anyone else before we throw to Pete? I mean, for a Pete question. No, Pete, what were you going to raise?
Not really a question. I'm not sure if this is news. You might probably already know about it, Harold, but just thought I'd bring it up just in regards to the Geraldton charger. So now you mentioned a different council, which I don't remember. This is from the City of Greater Geraldton Council.
Yep.
And so this is what it says. These are the minutes from the meeting held on the 16th of December 25, so about 6 months ago. And this is in relation to NRMA wanting to have a site in the CBD.
Yep.
And so it says a proposal for a similar electric vehicle charging station was presented by Tesla at a council concept forum held on 16th of October 2024. At that time, council provided preliminary feedback indicating that the CBD was not a preferred location for EV infrastructure due to existing parking constraints and congestion concerns. This feedback was later shared with the NRMA, who then moved their proposal out of the CBD to the Mohammed's Flats / Francisco Close site, which was approved. But nothing about the Tesla charger after that I could find or see.
Yeah. So it seemed, okay, so that probably means that perhaps Tesla hasn't been approved in Geraldton yet, but the NRMA has. And let's not praise the NRMA too much because in all of human history since Chris Bowen announced a 117 site national highway of electric fast DC electric chargers, precisely 2 locations have been completed in Western Australia, namely Eneabba and Manjimup. Yeah, Manjimup. And Geraldton is being built at the moment, I think. And that's out of the $39 million of funding the NRMA is about to install its 3rd charger. Someone on another forum was talking about Queensland, where I think the biggest gap now is reducing to about 450 kilometres between NRMA charges. The gap between the fairly newly completed Victoria River Roadhouse charger, NRMA DC charger in the Northern Territory, and their Eneabba charger in Western Australia, that gap from memory is about 3,300 kilometres. So there's a little bit of work to do. Just saying. It's funny, these discussions always get round to charging because it's kind of the only thing that matters when you've got an EV. I guess it's a little bit like saying if you're in a petrol car, yeah, let's just do a 3,000k trip and, I don't know, bring all the petrol with you because there's nowhere else to get it.
Mad Max style.
Mad Max style.
Yeah.
Harold,
Alrighty.
if you're interested.
Sorry, Mr. Dragon Soup.
Yep.
B.
Big Dragon. Ship 40 is a lot closer to Christmas Island now, if you've not been following it, for all of those who are interested. So
is it going the opposite direction? Is it going away from Dampier?
Yeah, the wind and the tides and the fact that they're herding it as opposed to putting it under tow, essentially. That nautical guy is really quite disappointed, shall we say, put lightly. So yes, it might end up at Christmas Island because it was only like, I'm guessing sort of as a round number-ish 500 nauticals from Christmas Island. It's well over 1,000 from here, so it's actually closer to Indonesia now.
You sure they're not just going to let the front fall off and it'll just slip away, or maybe they'll beach it? Who knows?
Well, yeah, good question. Don't know. It's still afloat as of this morning because there's a comes on overnight US time and usually has a post. And that nautical guy, I forget his name, he's quite good for the nautical stuff.
Yes.
Is there any propellant left in it, or has that all?
Who knows, Pete? Who knows?
It's obviously safe, and they've obviously look, SpaceX are accustomed to dealing with what would probably freak normal people out. So they would have vented. Don't forget, it could literally, if the tank is fairly empty, but it's just full of nothing but natural gas, methane, and there's no oxygen, well, it can't explode because it literally needs oxygen.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
It'll be it's.
You have to tow it by the bow
back,
and you can't really attach it because you can't just, like, should we say, sail up to it and drill a hole in the front and stick a hook in it.
Why not? You can just get your drill and go like this, Mike. You know.
I've been involved in nautical. You can't just. So they tried having pulling it backwards, but that's not going to work in a fit. So they've got all these. Go on.
Why don't they gaff it? Just get a big gaff.
Yeah, I saw your post. Yeah. Because they've got all the Yokohamas around it, so big bollards with big floaters with tires,
which are scuffing all the tiles on the side bits, so they won't get that evidence anymore.
And the sides are all scuffed out because they had like 25 knot winds and 5 meter sea state this week for quite a period, quite a few days. it is dropping off now, but they might get it under movement where they want to go again. But it is heading in that direction. So there's not much infrastructure though at Christmas Island for messing around with things like that. So who
there's
knows?
lots of crabs, isn't there? Lots of crabs there. They have
Yeah,
crab
yeah.
season, so
Yeah.
I'll
So,
just bring
if
up
anybody's interested.
I'll just bring up the great video. Actually, it was quite nice of the sunset.
Oh yes.
Let's just bring that up momentarily.
Yep.
There we go. There it is. This might even work on TV.
Can see the little Flintstone feet going underneath you there, Harold.
Yes, indeed. Let's see if let's give that a go. Oh, I did press the button. I love this computer.
You need the sound effect.
I pressed it a second. There we go. You can see all the scuffing just here.
Yeah.
And these things are pretty big too. They're much bigger than a person, taller than a person.
Yes. Oh yes.
Cracking
People just
sunset
don't
though.
realise how big it's going to be.
I was going to say, did anyone make their way up to the port? Up, what is it, Broome or somewhere it was coming in at?
Well, we don't.
Dampier. It was originally going to go to
It's
Dampier.
probably going to be Dampier, but they can't tow it. This is the problem. So it's been going with the ocean currents and winds. There's a guy who posts something that shows all that, and you can see it's all circulating in the direction of Indonesia and Christmas Island. So that's where they're going to head to.
Why can't they tow it? Is it just too big, or
You can't attach things to the front, and towing it from behind is like 1 knot max probably. So when you're 1,000 nautical miles out, you can do the numbers.
Yeah,
and it's just a big sail. Like it's floating very much high in the water. If it was probably a lot lower in the water, well, even that would be its own problems. But
Yeah, but that's a different issue because then you've got much more drag and stuff.
Oh,
and you
well,
can't
relight.
refuel it and relight it. That'll do it.
Yes, that's what a few of the smart Alex on X have been suggesting.
Yes, and they've been using Grok Imagine to try and imagine
Yes.
that as well.
Yeah,
But,
just stick an outboard motor on the back, you'll be right.
Yes, I think if they don't get it to Christmas Island, it might be cheaper just to sink it.
Yeah, even that's easier said because they can't. They'd have. See, that thing's bobbing up and down. You imagine something going up and down a meter in front of you. People just don't realise how difficult it is to get to things in the open ocean. So, and you've got to attach interesting explosives to it because they can't use the onboard explosives because that's out of action now. So, it's
There is
they'll
a
have to get
simpler
different.
there is a simpler solution than attaching explosives is you get nearby navies to use it as a target practice.
Exactly.
Yeah, in international waters, there's a bunch of stuff that has to be gone through first.
Well, and the thing too is probably the easiest to get Navy would be a submarine, but they wouldn't want to unmask themselves. So
No.
yeah. Anywho, I guess probably it'll be Vale Ship 40. And anyway, Ship 41's going to come up, or whichever one is the next one, sometime
Yes, they
hopefully
haven't done
soon.
static fire yet, so still a couple of weeks away, if not 3. End of this
All right.
month, earliest.
Very good. All right, I'm going to ask Carlo. You got your hand up.
You're muted, Carlo.
Yeah, muted. Still muted. Just got to unmute.
I did ask in the chat about his Model S.
Yeah, try and unmute Carlo if you can on your device. Or can
Hello.
someone Oh yeah, gotcha. Now you got you
Oh,
loud and clear.
thank
Go.
you. Yeah, I found it. I don't know what to think. I'm really stressed out here. I booked in my Tesla S because it came up saying that it needed to change the lower battery, which is
No, don't stress, Carlo. So the Tesla brings up that message preemptively, so you've got you don't have to do it tomorrow, or in a few days. They do give you some warning. So one of the tricks is, and I'm sure you're not doing this anyway. Don't let your battery, the big battery, go below 20%, and you're probably not doing that anyway. So what can catch out some of the cars if their little 12-volt battery is getting towards end of life? What will stress it out is, so what basically happens, and this happens for all Teslas, but for those with the older lead acid batteries, which do wear out, what happens is when the big battery is between 100% down to just above 20%, the big battery has a DC to DC inverter, which converts the 400 odd volts down to the 12 volts that all your internal systems and computers need. So as long as the big battery is greater than 20%, that is always backing up the system. What can stress it out and cause a failure or exacerbate a failure is if you allow your big battery to get below 20%, then by policy, the DC to DC inverter stops working to keep the 12-volt battery charged. And that's when, if you leave the car for a couple of days and the 12-volt battery is not doing very well, it can then stop the car. But this notification, Tesla deliberately gives that notification well ahead of time. So all you do is just hop on your Tesla app, if you want Tesla to do it, and just say you want your 12-volt battery. You've got a notification that your battery needs changing, and then you book it in. And I'm sure you can get a Tesla service at Osborne Park or O'Connor within the next couple of weeks.
I understand all that, and I have done that. And then they phoned me back about 3 hours later, and they said, "Mate, I think you're confused." I said, "No, I've got a message saying to replace the lower battery," and they said it was around $1,200. But then they rang me back 3 hours later, and this is where I'm confused. They said, "Mate, all your batteries need replacing." I said, "What? I've only had the car a year and a half," and they said, "Yeah, well, sorry about that." They said, "Well, get back to me. They'll get back to me next week. They're just contacting the USA to get a price and getting a price and seeing if they can fly the parts in." I said, "I wouldn't fly them in because I said I need a price first." I think that they're saying that the whole lot is gone. No good.
Okay, so sorry. So there's two batteries. There's your 12-volt battery that runs the electronics, and then there's the 400-ish volt battery. Now, in the Model S, so I presume you've got a second-hand Model S?
Yes.
Yep. How old?
2014.
Oh, okay. That's getting older. And how many Ks has it done?
140,000.
Yeah, okay. The thing is, on the older cars, it's the age that can count. So
because I've seen other Tesla owners in the club have 1 million kilometres, 500,000 kilometres, 300,000 kilometres. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, look, it just depends on the history of the car. So it depends how the car's been treated while it was owned. So the Ks aren't high, but the age is.
Right.
Look, you should get Tesla to do a proper report.
Yeah.
Some of the older packs, it's not so much the Ks necessarily, it's the age and what's happened to the car. Has the car been allowed to go dead flat through circumstance? It just depends on who owned it. And it can be quite confronting.
Where'd you buy your car from, Carlo?
Where did I buy my car from?
Yeah.
Toyota in Cannington.
Right.
How long ago?
Just under 2 years ago.
Okay, all right. I was going to say, because dealers have to give you a statutory warranty, even
12
though it's a
months.
second-hand car, but that's 12 months. So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's run out. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
devastated because I think I've been looking around, not being experienced, and I think even to buy a second-hand battery pack, that's 7 to 9 grand.
Yeah,
yes,
or more.
yeah. However, Carlo, the Model S packs they have their own sub-modules. So what it might
Right.
be is that Tesla will just, in fact, it's all but certain
Mm.
that they just need to replace some of the sub-modules, and I think there's between 12 and 14. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. It's the old way of doing it. They have modules. I think they're 48-volt modules. I can't quite remember. But
Right.
so they rip the lid off, because actually in the Model S, the whole pack just unbolts under the car very
Yeah.
easily. It basically plugs into the car, and they
Right.
just have a whole lot of bolts that holds it up under the car. So they drop
Yep.
the pack, they can take the lid off, and they can identify which of the modules contain the worst cells that might need replacing. Look, I mean, look, Tesla aren't going to suggest that things get changed that don't need changing.
Mm.
The news could be bad.
Yeah. I'll have to keep
But
you
it is what
informed
it,
next Wednesday.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it
It's
is.
just sad, you know.
Yeah,
You're not
look, Tesla aren't sharks. They're not going to rip you off and
Yeah.
pretend that
Mm.
a pack that's fairly good is needs the whole thing replacing or whatever.
Yeah.
It'll be what it'll be. Is
I mean, the car's immaculate. It was well looked after.
yeah,
You can tell. You can even tell when I bought it. It was very well looked after by a multi-millionaire Queenslander, and that was one of the reasons why I bought it. And then, as we all know, no one believed that Telstra would turn off the G3.
3G. Yeah, that's right. So
Sorry,
you got to
yeah,
upgrade the
three.
the media control unit. Yep.
I spent $3,000 or more there, and I accepted that because we didn't predict the future. But then before buying the Tesla, when everyone was telling me, "Oh, mate, the batteries last this long," and I've travelled around Australia 11 times and this and that, maybe I've got the wrong idea, or like you said, it is age, not how far you go or how quick. But
Yes.
it's just devastating after a year and a half spending $40,000 on a car, and I get a phone call from O'Connor with the senior advisor of Tesla saying, "Mate, I'm sorry, Carl, I've got some bad news for you. Our
Yeah.
computer's showing that all your batteries need replacing." And I went, "What?" So, but hey, it is what it is. I can keep you informed next Wednesday. I'm sure by then he'll ring me with a price. And he's also going to ring me because he said it's very important, Carlo, that I'll tell you how long you got left to drive that car before it stops in the middle of the road. And that scared me too.
Yeah. Look, I just go with the process.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'll give you a phone number to ring. Take a note. It's
Yeah.
6262
6262.
Yep, 3131.
Yep.
That's Tokwa's helpline.
Okay.
And give us a ring and we can chat about it offline.
Okay. Is that 08 in front of that?
Yeah, it's Perth.
Yeah.
WA. 62623131. It's easy to remember because
Yeah.
62 and 31 are half of each other, so 62623131.
Yeah, I've got that. So, I'm just waiting for them to call me back, which will probably be in the next 2 days. That apparently they're calling them Sydney, and I think even America, because one, they want to find out the right parts and the price, and also they do not know when the car's going to stop. And they said it's very important that we find that information and we can ring you back, Carl, because you keep driving. Another thing that happened to me today, when I was at Carron Up charge station, it wouldn't let it would not let me charge my car more than 150 kilometres. It stopped and it said until you fix, because of the batteries need replacing, it won't charge over 150. Where before I was charging it to 455.
Yeah.
Sounds like there's a few modules that are out of action.
Okay.
Look, it's not great news, Carlo.
No.
But unfortunately, sometimes these things happen. It's yeah. But look, give us a call offline, and we can try and discuss it and whatever. But
all right.
Look, not every Tesla story is awesome, and it is an old car. I know. It is what it is. Yeah.
I'm I don't want to be negative. I am the biggest Tesla groupie fan you could ever meet. I've got socks, undies, coffee cups, blankets, tuners. I mean, I know. I'm sorry.
That's a bit too much information there, Carlo. I
don't care. I'm letting you know how I feel. And all of a sudden, I got mixed feelings. I'm like, I do not want to become a hater, and I don't want to become.
Sometimes when you've got a tattoo, Carly.
I'm just so stressed out at the moment. You know.
So the thing is, one single car. Yeah, look, it's an old car. It's a classic nose cone Model S. Look, let's take it offline. The news is clearly bad. Yeah. Not every story is great. The vast 99.999% are great stories, and the cars do live a very long time. You are dealing with probably one of the oldest Teslas in Australia. You did say it was a multimillionaire. That's actually a problem, because multimillionaires have got lots of cars and they don't necessarily look after them. I dare say that car has probably been left neglected, parked in a garage for weeks, if not months on end. Probably wasn't charged properly or even plugged in. The battery pack has probably been allowed to soak in a flat state, and that's not great for them. That's not your fault. You weren't to know, but I don't want to put aspersions on multimillionaires, but sometimes they're very busy people, and things like cars, you know what I mean? Like, one thing with EVs, and it's the only one thing you should do. If you go on holidays, plug your car in, and the cars these days do try very hard to protect themselves. They will shut down many systems, and they'll kind of almost disconnect once they're at a fairly low state of charge. But some of the older cars might not have been able to do that. And I dare say, like I said, a multimillionaire is busy. Their concern about chattels is less than us average people. And I dare say perhaps that car wasn't treated as well as it ought to be for what it is. And maybe now that's something that consequence is coming about. That some of those modules are probably end of life. It's not always about Ks. It's about what happened during those Ks. And it's true. There are cars that have done 1 million Ks. There's a gentleman whose Model S is about to pass. It's younger than yours, Carlo. Much younger. It's a 2017 Model S, I think. It's about to cross 1 million Ks in the next couple of months. But for full disclosure, his battery pack was replaced at 666,666 Ks.
And that's a car of Queensland as well.
It's in
There's
Queensland.
one in Europe that's done, or it's about to do 1 million miles. So that's 1.6 billion kilometres. But similarly, that pack's been replaced. So,
But unfortunately, your pack, Carlo, it had a 8-year warranty, I think.
Yes, I think you're right.
Out of warranty. But look, let's give us a buzz. Look, the news is going to be bad, but you've got choices, and there are other ways of skinning cats. That look, I think these days there might be. You could try and seek you could just Google and see if there's any companies, and I think there are some, you can either get an exchange pack. I'm not sure if there's anyone in Australia, I know there are in Europe, that will actually swap modules and do that sort of thing. It's just a matter of, look, Tesla will be honest and say, this is an entire pack, or this is half the modules, or it's 3 modules, or it's whatever. Just give them time, let them work it out, get the bill.
Yeah.
Sorry, get the quote, and then look at your options.
Just 2 things to mention really quickly. So I know Tesla, it might just be in the US for now, but I know they're offering refurbished packs now as well. So that may be another option that may be cheaper. But one thing I wanted to point out, Recurrent did a study, and this is all EVs, not just Teslas, and they found that, and this goes to what Harold was saying about age. So Generation 1 models, so years 2011 to 2016, they found 8.5% of the packs had to be replaced. But then you go to the Gen 2 model years, 2017 to 2021, and it dropped to 2%. And then you go to 2022 or newer, and it's 0.3%. So, the newer the cars, the more, and it's not just the small difference, but they've just been getting exponentially more reliable. But that could also be a function of time, exactly what Harold was saying. So, I've been wanting to buy a Model X, a used one, for about 5 years, and for each time I found one, Harold stocked me out of it.
All right, let's sorry to hear it, Carlo, but
not going to help. But
That's all right.
let's talk offline and we'll go through some options. But alrighty, on that. But please, let's just talk offline.
I just want to thank everyone for their time and for their help and for their information. Thank you very much. To everyone.
And please come back. Look, and please come back next week, and we're going to talk anyway. So do call, and
I'll call you. I'll fill you in what they said and what the quote is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good luck and fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
It's not too painful.
Alrighty.
Thanks, Harold.
No worries. Take care. All right. We're definitely well over time, so we might call it. Pete, how would you round out an awesome show like this, as if I didn't already know?
So always stay safe, stay sustainable, and stay ahead of the curve.
And the best way to do that is buy a Tesla, join Tokla, and ask us anything about accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy and abundance. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and really do look forward to seeing you on next week's episode of Tokla's Ask Us Anything. Good night, everyone.
No.
No.